I'm Gavin Scott, your host. Welcome to the Stay Outstanding podcast, the show that shares wisdom and gifts knowledge, motivates you to be your authentic self, influences you to fulfill your true potential, encourages you to take action, and inspires you to step into your greatness. Well, hello there everybody. It's so nice to be here sharing time with you, and I'm grateful for you listening. This episode is all about never judging a book by its cover. And if somebody were to judge a book by its cover, then how the book might respond. So, when I talk about the book responding, I'm of course talking about the human persona and perhaps the emotions that come from it when people talk directly to you, and ordinarily a everyday mindset might take those emotions on negatively. So I met a young lady recently, 5'6", very pretty, blonde hair. And she'd contacted me, she'd reached out to me because she was inspired by the idea that I was swimming from one continent to another to raise awareness about the plastic problem that we're experiencing, plastic pollution. And, that was commendable. Courageous of her. She would like to do something to help the problem, but isn't sure what to do or how to do it. So this young lady reaches out to me and we end up meeting up, and she says to me at one point in the conversation, "Are you sure you're going to swim the Straits of Gibraltar? Are you sure?" Now what she's saying is you look fat, you look unfit. And you're probably all thinking, crikey, who is this guy that wants to swim across the ocean to raise plastic awareness around plastic pollution, to help save the earth, that's crazy enough to do it, that's fat and unfit? Well, I did not take it personally. I am a large guy. I'm 6'2". I'm 186 and a half. I weigh over 110, 111 kilos. I've lost a lot of kilos recently, actually, in the last 6 months. So it depends which way you're judging it. But anyway, I've got broad shoulders. I'm pretty big boned. I'm never going to be one of those slim guys. I'm never going to get into a 30-inch waist. I'm always going to have a little bit of extra around those hip bones. That's just the way my beautiful body, this wonderful ship that is taking me, traveling me through time, was designed. And how you choose to look at somebody, how you choose to judge them, will reflect upon your own inner workings. And if you are willing to look at somebody and say you are fat and you are unfit, then you're saying something about yourself. And here's why I can say that. Yes, I'm big boned. Yes, I carry a bit more weight than perhaps I should. But I'm in the best shape of my life. I've got a back injury at the moment. You might have heard me talk about that in another episode. And, typically I will go off the rails when I got an injury. I will think that nothing is worth doing anything about, and I will eat and I will drink. Yes, there's two types of people in this world, an emotional eater and a non-emotional eater. And for many, many years, I've been an emotional eater. I am striving, I am endeavoring to be a better person every day. And that means making better food choices. And that means acknowledging when my emotions are playing a hoax on me and making me think that I will be better, because in that short moment where I eat that food to suppress that emotion, it is not a long-term gain. And there is no mastery without consistency. And I've said it before and I'll say it again, I'm not perfect. I simply strive to be better every day. I tell you what's most interesting about this is literally it's all in the last week to 10 days. I had a business meeting yesterday. I met this guy, he's a lovely guy. We went to talk about some property. Property is one of my fortes. I've been an investor developer for over 20 years now. So this guy, he's looking to help me and I'm looking to help him. So it's a good deal for both of us to get together. Haven't seen him in about a month. And I sit down and I'm like, hey, how are you? He's like, I'm great. How are you? I'm like, super. I am outstanding. And he says to me, so how's things going? I'm like, yeah, great. Got a bit of an injury. Really finding it difficult to deal with, but I've just started swimming again after a month. I've had to postpone my swim 6 months because my resistance has dropped as a result of not swimming every day. And actually, this is a great thing. Now I can raise more awareness. Now I can raise more funds for much needed charity to help deal with these issues. And he's like, so how far is it? How far have you got to swim? And I'm like, 16.5 kilometers, as if it was just taking a walk out the house, And he says to me, really? You can do that? And I knew where his thought was coming from. I knew. So I said to him, what do you mean? And I sort of pulled on each side of my t-shirt and gestured towards my body. You don't think I can make it? I said. And he was a little bit kind of, oh, no, that's not what I meant. And I was like, it's okay. It's perfectly okay. You might think I can't make it, but I can, and I will. You might think because I'm in this blessed body, this beautiful traveling vessel that's helping me through my challenges and achieve my ambitions and goals and through my missions. You think because it's big, you think because I carry a few extra pounds, you think because of my shape, I'm unfit. And he sort of, nods his head and, tilts his head down a little bit. And he's like, well, yeah, jesting with one hand. And I said, well, that's quite amazing. Let me tell you something. I am as fit as anybody you probably know. And he looks at me, scrunching his eyes a little bit like, really? He doesn't say really, but, that's what the facial expression means. And I said, let me tell you an example of how I know this to be true. Last week, I played in a tennis tournament. I played 2.5 hours of competitive tennis. So let's say that again, just for anyone listening. Last week, I played 2.5 hours of competitive tennis. Most places around the world, if you book a tennis court, you play tennis for an hour, right? So I played 2.5 hours of tennis. Now, you're probably thinking, ooh, that's such a big thing, Gavin. Excuse me. That's such a big thing. And maybe you're right. Maybe it isn't such a big thing. But do you want to know what the big thing is? Do you want to know why I'm making such a big song and dance of playing 2.5 hours of competitive tennis? Here's the hook. The hook is, not only did I play 2.5 hours of competitive tennis, I walked 20 minutes to get a bus. I took a 20-minute bus. I took a 20-minute walk up that hill to play the tennis. So I've done 40 minutes of walking before I even played tennis. And now you're probably going to say to me, Gavin, wow, big deal. You did a little walk, 40 minutes, whatever, you went to play tennis, and you played in the tennis tournament and it was 2.5 hours long. Okay. I agree with you. I can accept your point of view. But here's where it's getting interesting. What did I do after my tennis game? Yeah, okay, I sat around for a little bit, resting up, talking to the other players, a bit of banter, a bit of conversation. And I started walking home. And as you come out of the tennis club, there's this big hill you got to go up. And I was like, after the first 30 meters, I was like, why are you walking up this hill? You got to swim across the ocean. You got to swim from one continent to another. You got to swim from one country to another. It's going to get mighty uncomfortable out there. And when it does, you better have been well prepared. You better have faced your jury and known that you were going to be judged, and that you were going to be judged innocent, and that you were going to be set free. You're probably thinking, what's he talking about now? He's talking about being judged and being set free. What happens when you get uncomfortable is your demons come. And your demons will be like, don't do it. Don't do it. Whatever you do, don't do it. Well, this is crazy. You've chosen to do it. You've decided consciously, whatever the reason was, you've chosen consciously to do it. And now your demons are telling you not to. They're lying to you. You can't. It's too long. It's too far. It's too hard. So in that moment, after walking 30 meters up the hill, I was having this conversation with myself about getting uncomfortable and pushing my boundaries. And I jogged up that hill. I turned in one instant. I flicked the switch that said, I am enough. I am enough. I welcome challenge. I welcome fear. I welcome doubt. Bring it on, baby. It's just you and me. I'm gonna win all day long. I eat motherfuckers like you for breakfast. All right, excuse the enthusiasm coming out. The point is, not only did I jog up that hill, I jogged the whole 10K home. I'm not training to run a marathon. I'm not training to run distance. I'm not even training to be a tennis player. I just like playing tennis. I grew up as a I was a very sporty guy, and I played in a lot of competitions across all sports at all different levels, generally pretty high and competitive. So now I've walked 40 minutes, I've played 2.5 hours of tennis, and I've jogged 10k home. And you're telling me that I'm unfit. You're looking at me and saying, you can't do that. You don't look like you can do that. You're judging me. Judge me. Judge away. Doesn't matter to me. Why? Because I know who I am and I know what I'm capable of. And I've met my demons. And I am fit. And you can judge me with whatever your human eyes are showing you, reflecting you from within your own self. But don't tell me I'm unfit. I'm not unfit. I am fit. I am more fit for purpose than anything else manufactured on this planet. And you know why I know that? Because I'm living in my greatness. And I will not be suffocated. I will not have my essence tarnished by your poor choice of words, by your poor choice of verbal language. Now, I'm not here to tell you not to use that language. I'm not here to tell you to use that perception. I'm here to tell you to stay outstanding. You don't need to go below that level of frequency. You don't need to be in that lower vibration. It's not that you need to be anything. It's just that you need to be your authentic self. And if you are your authentic self, I guarantee you, you will be outstanding. You guys can probably hear in the back of this recording, and I apologize for this, but as you know, I live out in Spain, in the south of Spain. You know what? It doesn't matter what kind of day it is or what time of day it is. There's always somebody cutting some hedge or blowing some leaves somewhere, and these things, they go all day long from like 7 o'clock in the morning until about 4 o'clock in the afternoon when these workers clock off. So apologies if you're hearing that in the background. I don't let it frustrate me. These guys, whoever they are, they're doing their job. They're earning for themselves, their family, seeking to be their best selves. So who am I to judge that it's a bad thing to do? Sure, I can let it frustrate me, and then I can judge that it's a bad thing for them to do. Not because they're doing it, but because I don't like it. But I must say, if you are getting the background noise, I do apologize. There's just simply nothing I can do about it. But I'm pretty certain that my voice is loud enough and I'm passionate enough about what we're talking about, and that I'm energetic enough that my voice is always going to be heard first and clearly. There's been another one starting up. Can you guys hear that? I don't know if you can, but if you can, just smile like me. It's pretty funny, hey? That's how professional I am in my studio. I've got soundproof walls. Anyway, lovely, lovely, lovely people. Trust me when I say this. Be your authentic self. Don't live in judgment of others. And always know what is behind the cover of your own book. Because let me tell you something. It's a Pulitzer Prize winner. It's a New York bestseller. You just gotta read it. You just gotta go page to page, and by the time you get to the end, you will know, my friends. So from me to you, until next time, stay outstanding.